So I'm looking for your help. I have here a brand new Lodge USA made enameled cast iron pot. I have used this pot extensively. I have tested it, pushed it, and made a lot of really great food from it. I really enjoy it, but I don't know if I should carry this brand on the shelves of my store, and I want to know what you think. Hi, I'm Jed, this is Cook Culture. So as many of you know, I'm a retailer. I buy things and I resell them. That's what I do. This channel, I love to have different types of cookware on it. I show it off. I don't necessarily sell the items. I don't sell the brands in which I promote. I hopefully have interesting people on this channel from different places talking about things that they do, and that just benefits this really cool sub niche of cookware that we all like to talk about here on YouTube. But what I do in my day-to-day life is that I buy and resell things on the shelves of my stores and in our e-commerce store. So I've been looking intensively at the Lodge brand new USA made enameled cookware, thinking, should I be carrying this? This was a big investment for Lodge. They brought their manufacturing that they did previously and actually still are doing in Asia, and they are made the first USA made enameled cast iron cookware. And they invested a huge amount of money just by their factory in Tennessee and their foundry in Tennessee, and that was awesome. And I've been excited about this for a long time. So this piece came to me and I've been using it intensively and really trying to put it through its paces to compare it. Do I like it? And what do I compare that against? Of course, Staub and Le Creuset. Those are really the two top brands or top names in the world when it comes to enameled cast iron cookware. And I can then compare it to other brands, but really when I'm looking at selling a high-end enameled cast iron, those two brands are the ones that really come to mind and that other people I think of when they think of spending decent money on enameled cast iron. So I have a little bit of a process that I go through when I am thinking about anything that I'm going to sell. And this is where I want to get your help. There's some that are very logical and straightforward that, the answer to the question just shows itself because of the logic to it. But at the end of these 4 questions that I ask myself is where, I'm hoping that you can help me with your opinion on what you think. So first of all, we have, is this needed? Like, do we need to have this pot on the marketplace? And that's a questionable one here, because really when we look at it from Le Creuset or Staub being the 2 top brands, they're kind of filling that space already. But they're not made in the USA. So that's the big question here. Like, is this American-made cookware worthwhile? I think yes, in the American space, North American space, having American-made enamel cast iron is a positive thing. That's good. Is it absolutely necessary? Probably not. Staub and Le Creuset do fill that space, and I don't have customers say to me, oh, it's made in France and France is bad somehow and I want it made in the USA. I find a lot of people that are buying high-end cookware, if it's made in a Western European country, they're pretty good with it. I think sometimes the American-made choice would be preferred, but if that's not there, Europe is a very close second. And so that really hasn't been an issue where customers are walking out the door, with their hands in the air, being like, I gotta have this made in the USA, I'm not gonna go find where it is. This will help a little bit, but I don't think it's a massive deciding factor. So number 2 is price. I've got a 6-quart oven here, and the only comparative oven that I could find from Le Creuset and from Staub is a 5.5 quart. But the pricing all is somewhat similar to Canadian and US dollars, wherever it's all within 10% of each other. And I think if I searched properly, I spent the time in it, you're gonna probably find the one you want at a pretty good price. They fluctuate depending on time of year and which retailer you're buying them from. So price isn't a massive consideration. It's not like they were able to really bring these in at a lower price and really kind of pull the rug underneath of Le Creuset and Staub. So the third one is what I think is really, really important. And this is the story behind the brand. And Lodge has a phenomenal story. They've got a story of survival. They were really the only big foundry in the US that survived while all the other foundries collapsed or moved on to making other things. And cookware that was made all over the place at one point in time in the manufacturing area of North America and in Canada. They have all gone away. Canada now doesn't produce its own cast iron cookware, and there are only a select amount of places in the States that do it, and Lodge still owns and maintains their own foundry. So a tremendous success story, and they've done very well. They've acquired other brands like Finex, and they've got some wind in their sails. So they spent a ton of money to build this new foundry, and it was a ballsy move, and I've got a lot of respect for the brand and really enjoy the brand. I've said that many times on this channel, and I think that the idea of Lodge bringing this to market is a big positive. I think that's an exciting thing. So that moves on to number 4, and this is the last and most important deciding factor. And this is the one that I'm asking for your help. So when I look at a product and I compare it to other things, and let's look specifically at this Lodge versus Le Creuset versus Staub. So does this stand out in some way? Is there a reason for this design and presentation of this pot? Because, let's be honest, Le Creuset and Staub have a certain cachet to them. They are a certain design and a certain beauty and a certain look that people have a lot of pride. And I would maybe argue that people have more pride in the brand of Le Creuset. I know several customers that are pretty deep into Le Creuset and have more pieces than that they need and have a lot of pride around that brand, a lot of emotional attachment to the look and feel of that. And I'm not saying that Lodge shouldn't and doesn't have some of that same sort of emotional attachment to an American-made brand. But when we're looking at these 3 brands together on the shelf and you're looking at the new Lodge design, does that speak to you in that same way? Does this pot, does this design, does that compare it to the heritage style of the Le Creuset or the really cool old flat lid style of the Staub? So what they did in the design process with the new Lodge is that they went back to the 50s in their design. They got inspiration from guitars that were made of that era and then from cars of the 50s. And this is that design. This is why the knob has that certain kind of neat retro look to it. And the shape and the body has the styling and the cut in the styling. And this is where it came from, is this kind of 50s design. So, I am still trying to make a decision, so I want to hear what you have to say in the comments. But my argument right now, and where I'm leaning to a point where I'm not overly impressed with that take in the design, from my opinion, is the 50s was a time where it was the beginning of the decline of cast iron. Cast iron was something of our great-grandparents. And in the beginning of the 50s, the modernization of the kitchen was the beginning of the death of modern cast iron, which was a tragedy in my opinion. But it was a time of the Jetsons. It was a time of dishwashers and moms being less time in the kitchen, which in my family that was a fantastic thing. I am not saying in any which way that it should be one gender over the other in the kitchen, but there was a time in which what was taught mostly from mother to daughter was put aside because the old ways of taught from family to family were not as good as what the modern companies, the modern organizations and corporations were now selling to us of modern cookware, non-stick cookware specifically. And those family traditions were put aside. And then the people started to buy more modernized type of cookware. Stainless steel definitely took hold. Clad cookware, which has been a tremendous benefit, that took hold, but iron got put either in a drawer or out in the garage or out to the curb, and it was gone out of the kitchen. And when I was selling cookware in the late 80s and early 90s, you couldn't sell a piece of iron to somebody to save your life. It just wasn't happening. And it took until after the new millennia for people to even start to consider iron again. And iron now is cool again, which is tremendous, but there was a 30, 40 year span which it was just absent from the kitchen, and that began in the 50s. And so it confuses me that the design of this pot is from the 50s, of a time where that was the end of cast iron, where cast now and all the new designs are looking back further than the 50s, or they're looking forward from now. And so maybe that was an opportunity for them, and maybe I'm completely off base here, but that's where I want to hear from you, right? Tell me what I should be doing. Is this a brand that should be on my shelves? Should I be behind this brand, as a retailer? Oh, I'm behind this brand here on YouTube. I think what Lodge are doing is tremendous. I'm really excited for them. It doesn't connect with me 100%. I'm not fully convinced in it, but I do want to know. I'm one of one. I want to know what you have to say. So please, in the comments, let me know what you think of this new brand. If you haven't got your hands on it, it's now widely available. Go into your local boutique retailer. They have a very good chance they're going to have it. And get your hands on it and give me your 2 cents. I want to know. So thanks so much. Comments below. Take care.